since we're talking about the genius of Dave Ramsey and his crew, I have got a couple clips for you. We'll try and do one right now, and then we'll see if we have time here. But let's do this one first because you are gonna crap your pants. This one is so good. It's so good. I have to do ASMR because it's so good. So, George Skippy Camel versus a TikToker. Now, what is the TikToker talking about? She's talking about, should you pay your house off early or save and invest your money? Have we ever done that before? Have we ever run that scenario before? Yeah, we've done it a bunch of times. Yeah, so this girl's going to do on a TikTok what usually takes us 15 minutes. She's going to do it in about 2, making
Hey, let's
making us look really stupid. But what we're really looking at here is, how does George combat this? Because I've never seen them combat this. So we're gonna dive right in. Are you ready to rock and
I'm
ruin?
kind of excited to see the TikTok video.
Oh, you're gonna see it. Oh, we'll play it all.
And so we found a video about mortgages, and we get a lot of hate for our take on mortgages that you shouldn't.
Hang on, let me slow him down a little bit because I forget he's not as slow as Dave.
Yeah, because he sounds super caffeinated when you speed him up.
Yeah.
And it's a hot take that you should pay your mortgage off because then you can really live and give like no one else and build wealth. So let's watch this video, and I'll let you know my thoughts after.
Paying off your mortgage early isn't always a great idea. Let me show you why. Let's say that you have a $300,000 mortgage at a 4% interest rate for 30 years. Your payment is $1,400. You have an extra $1,000 that you can use to either pay off your mortgage faster or invest. Let's look at what happens in both cases. If you use your $1,000 to pay off your mortgage faster, you'll pay off your mortgage in 13 years and save $120K worth of interest. Now start investing all of that $2,400. 17 years later, you'll have $1 million, assuming an average 8% return. Now let's look at if you invest the $1,000 instead of paying off your mortgage. Over the same 30 years, you'll pay $128,000 more in interest, but you'll have $1.4 million in investments. Paying off your mortgage early would cost you $300,000 in total wealth. That's a lot of money. Sure.
So
Look at the look on his face.
I know he's struggling, man. I'll bring it back. Oh, you'll make more money. The other thing she's not bringing up, but we bring up all the time, is it's less risk because you have that in cash, as opposed to all that money is sunk into the house. So if you have a massive emergency, now you're looking at selling your house, or if you had saved it, it'd be. But we've done this every time, and every time, if you invest it at the higher and you get the higher rate of return, you're always going to make more money over the long run. Always.
That being said, each individual has to evaluate what their actual goal is,
Right.
Which may or may not align with the, saving it or paying off the house. I can't stand it when this one-size-fits-all thing sort of starts to happen.
Which is what I loved what she started with,
Right.
which is it may not be the best idea.
Right. She didn't say you should absolutely do this other thing.
She's just saying understand what your options are. So
Right,
I love it.
right.
She does the textbook, like we've done it so many times, the textbook first year, or not even first year, but college personal finance class. This is a basic freaking question you'd get on that test, right? You approach the client. What do you tell them? These are your these are the options. This is what they look like. I would have also thrown in a hybrid and said, hey, why don't you split it? And you could do it both ways. Pay off the house a little bit quicker and save some money at the same time. Right? But she just
did might go with the behind the door number 3 scenario.
Right. We can play this scenario a bunch of different ways. But she's right. If you save the money and invest it, you're going to make more money over the long run. That's just the fact. And the real fact is it's less risk because you have that in cash. It's easily liquefiable money, as opposed to you put all the money in your house and you don't have that savings and you need the money. You're either having to borrow at high interest right? Take out an equity loan on the house, which puts you back in the same fucking boat you were in before, right? Or you're going to have to sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
So her plan is actually the least risk for the best reward. His is the lowest reward with the most risk, the maximum amount of risk. But you can tell he's getting frustrated here. So let's see how he responds. Maybe we're wrong and he knows something we don't, Lace. We're gonna find out. Because look at him. He's got his jean jacket. You know, he looks like a sexual predator from the '60s. He's gonna go.
I'm trying to do that face.
So, the smush face. Let's see. Oh, you're just so smart. All right, let's see how he does it. All right, Skippy.
Sure, you've saved a bit on interest, but you lost money in the long run. That's why it's so important that you understand the way personal finance actually works. That way you can crunch the numbers and choose the path that makes the most financial sense for you.
Oh, so that's how personal finance.
Oh.
So this is the part where he jumps in and says, "Oh no, one size fits every single person. You shouldn't actually get to make a choice."
Well, that's how personal finance works. Oh, I didn't know. He doesn't know, apparently. He's taking it personal. It's not like she's talking to him. but that's how he's taking it. He's very upset. He's getting upset. Calm down, Skippy. It's going to be okay. All right, Skippy, what are you going to do? Come on, calm down.
Actually works.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Well, if I had known that, I would have gotten to way more debt because apparently.
Well, you don't know that because you have no education in personal finance. So.
You can make millions by going into debt and staying in debt.
She didn't say that. So already, boom, right out of the gate.
He's starting by making assumptions that she's trying to tell them to do something that she was not at all trying to tell them to do.
So he's feigning offense, like, no, I'm really the expert. Oh, well, you're just, I'm really, And then he's going to strawman the argument. She's saying stay in debt forever. No, in both scenarios, she pays off the house. In both scenarios.
Right.
She just goes one quicker, and the other one, she makes more money.
Right.
She didn't say stay in debt forever. She didn't say take out debt to invest.
Mm-mm.
And by the way, for anybody who starts a business, that's part of what you have to do. Is a lot of times you have to take out debt to invest in your business. Nobody started a business on their own without borrowing some money somewhere, unless they already had the cash for some reason. But that's ridiculous. So anyway.
Okay. A lot of numbers were thrown out there. You can ignore the numbers for now. It's too much to keep.
Ignore the numbers. Personal finance works the way I tell you, so ignore the numbers. Oh, brother. This just keeps getting dumber. Personal finance. Ignore the numbers. We don't care about interest rates. We don't care how much money you put somewhere. We don't care anything about numbers.
Finance has nothing to do with numbers. Ignore the numbers. This is like...
He's making you wish there was something stronger than herbal tea going on in this cup.
Your Honor, I object to this evidence being called at this time. Why is that? Because it's devastating to my case. Overruled.
Okay, let's go back to the pain.
Oh my god. Well, he can't address the numbers because he'll lose. Because they're fucking, she gave him. They're perfect. I mean, he looks like an ass if he addresses the numbers. So he's got to, okay, well, let's address something else. Let's change the topic.
I tried to write some of it down. It's just too much.
Oh, he tried to write it. He couldn't handle it. But remember, this is Skippy. He's the numbers guy. Right? He's the numbers guy. He tells us that all the time. He's the guy who's really into numbers. He likes numbers. But we're ignoring the numbers, and he couldn't keep up with the numbers.
Apparently.
What a tool.
Here's the deal. as a guy who paid off his house, and some people have said, that was a dumb thing to do. You should have invested the money. Listen, it's hard enough for me to sleep at night with everything going on in the world, but I sleep a whole lot better knowing my home is paid for, and I don't owe anyone anything. And here's the thing. People come at us and go, well, you still have taxes and insurance, so you'll always have payments. You must be real fun at parties if that's how you think when you talk to people. So when it comes...
Okay, while that comment is a little bit funny, it's like, what are you talking about?
Because he doesn't have anything to talk about. So now he's just scrambling. He's just... Because he just... Here's the deal. This is what's so fucking hilarious about this. He could have reviewed that video beforehand, run the numbers, developed an argument, and made an argument. Kind of like we do. Right?
Or he could have had one of their, I have no idea how many staff members do that for him and stick it in front of his face to deliver. He wouldn't even have to do anything.
Right. But he didn't do any of that. He's like, oh, I'm just going to watch it, and I'm going to be right. And then what happened? He watched it. He's got nothing. Nothing. Oh, I paid my house off early. Well, because I don't sleep well at night. I'm like, yeah, but that's not because it's a financially smart decision. It's because you have a freaking bug up your butt about debt. That's fine. Then pay off your house early. It still doesn't make it the smart decision. You can do what you want with your money. Nobody's saying don't pay off your house early. She's not saying don't pay off your house early. She's just saying that's not the smart move. Now, if you want to do it, that's fine. It's your money. There's no wrong answer with your money. You know? It's like we joke about my little doll. This is $40 for this thing. Was it necessary? Was it a smart purchase? Yes and no. No, I didn't really need it, but yeah, because I think it's funny. So, but that's the point. It's like, there's no wrong answer. It's my money.
Understand what your options are and which option gets you which result.
Yeah, because I could have thrown that extra $40 at like my student loans or something. And that would have probably been the smarter move, but no, I wanted the freaking toy. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but the problem is he's doing that, and then it's like people point out, well, yeah, I mean, even if you pay off your house, you do have taxes and utilities and homeowners and all that other crap, right? So you never really pay it off. And he's like, well, you must be fun at parties. It's like, who's talking about that shit at parties? I work in finance, and people talk to me at parties and ask me financial questions, and I'm a lot of like, we're at a party, dude. It's like when we're golfing and people are asking me, what investments do you like? I'm like, I'd like to invest in concentrating on my swing right now. And for you to shut the hell up while I'm doing it.
Right.
I don't talk in your backswing. But geez, God, he is really struggling. Let's give him another minute and see if he can redeem himself. What do you bet he can redeem himself? Nothing?
Oh boy.
Something? All right. That jean jacket's pretty painful.
So the mortgage, you're right. On paper, you can do better. If life works out perfectly for you, and you magically have an extra $1,000 sitting around, which, news alert, most Americans don't because they're broke, then yes, on paper, if it works out perfectly, and you get your exact return every single year, and you get that exact mortgage scenario, sure, you could end up with a few $100,000 more. But the truth is, 99.9% of Americans aren't doing that, will not do that, can't do that. They don't have extra money laying around. And if you think that if I did have extra money, it would all go towards investing because I'm such an astute...
Okay. Well, now he's just debunked their whole thing. Because their whole thing is you throw that extra money at the... Well, he's like, well, first off, most people don't have that money. It's like, okay. Yeah, but your whole thing is if you have the money, throw it at the house, right?
Right. And that's the scenario she's running. If you have that money, here are your options.
Throw it at the house or throw it in the investment. Right? He's saying, well, most people aren't going to do either. But it's like, well, then why are you telling people to pay off their house early
So,
if you know they're not going to
well,
do it?
that might be true, that most people maybe don't have it and won't do it, but that's also not the scenario you're talking about. You're talking about the person who has it and wants to do one of the things.
Well, but here's my point.
And which thing?
But my point is, his point is, even if they have it, they're not going to do it. It's like, okay, well, if they have it, you're saying they're not going to do either.
So you're also saying they're not going to do your option.
Yeah, so your option is just as freaking stupid at that point. Right? On top of that fact, if they do, and that's what they do, he's right. Yeah, you'll have more money. He's saying, but that's assuming that you get that 8% every year. And he's like, well, wait a minute. You're the guys that tell everybody you can get 12% every year out of the market. All that you consistently tell people that. And she's not talking about 8% per year consistently. She's talking about 8% average over 20 years, which is consistent with the market today. 8% per year is the average return of the S&P 500 index, the GSPC index. She is using standard numbers. And he's saying that 99.99% of you won't even get what we've seen consistently for the last 20 years. I mean, he's got nothing, man.
Let's just add to the mix, and I honestly don't care a lot about this whole interest rate part of this equation. Let's just throw that out there for good measure.
Sure, but
what he had to say about it is also so incredibly stupid, because when they talk about the interest rates you can get, they're always saying 12%.
I just said that, yeah.
She left it more conservative than they do. And he's saying, oh, if you can get this sort of interest rate, if you can get that, right?
But then he said 99% of you won't get that.
Right.
When they're promising even more than that.
When they say that you can get 12, she's saying
you can get 8, and he's saying 99% of you won't even get that. But we're promising you'll get 12. That was what was so.
In the process of trying to debunk her, he kind of offed himself.
Yeah, he just debunked themselves. We can watch him hang himself some more. I think I'm done with that. But it's like, unless you want to watch some more, because he's got nothing. I mean, but that's the thing, is we've done this scenario over and over again, and that's just the reality of the scenario. Is in most, and we usually only do it for 10 years,
right? Just
to be reasonable, right? For her, that was a real, if you're looking at a 30-year mortgage over a 20-year period, right? Yeah, she's actually she's right. She's in a much better position, right? And she's right. $300,000 is the main difference over a 20-year period if you're doing it consistently like that. The other thing that he points out, which is like, well, you have to assume that everything goes right. Well, here's the problem. Let's say something goes wrong and you're disabled and you can't work for 6 months, which I guarantee 1 in 20 Americans every year has to do short-term disability for 3 to 6 months. That is consistent. Insurance companies bank on that. And you don't have the cash saved because you put it all in your house. What are you going to do? In her scenario, you have the cash. In his scenario, you got to take out loans or something else. So once again, his scenario is a lot more risk. And over a 20-year period, the likelihood that you'll be out of work for 3 to 6 months, super high. I've been working the last 20 years. I've been out of work for 6 months before. Because I was ill and I couldn't work. It happens. I'm sorry, boys and girls, you're not made of steel. You're not the Hulk. So I say it's better to have the cash and just pay off the house over time.